Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'd like to give you an update on my spring planter here. So as you can see, it's done really well since I last showed you. I think on the last video I did of this update was about 2 weeks ago. So it's now just about the beginning of March and you can see that all the daffodils are out. They're looking really nice, fully open now. I've got several heads flowering as well. And also I've got lots of crocuses coming up as well. On the last video I think just the crocuses were flowering, just one or two, but now the rest of them have come up, they're looking good. And the daffodils have opened up. Now I was thinking last time when I had a look that the tulips here probably weren't going to flower, but actually having a closer look there are one or two that have flower buds on it, so that's a good sign. It looks like we're going to have some nice tulip flowers later on in the spring. So I'm quite happy with it at the moment. As I said, it's a shame that they've all flowered at the same time, but that's because the weather's been too warm, and so the daffodils have flowered at the same time as the crocuses down here. Normally the crocuses flower first, but because it's been so warm, it's encouraged the daffodils to come out just a bit early. So you can see here that the flowers are slightly different size on the daffodils. I think this is because it's the second year, some of them are a bit weaker than the others. So you can see at the back here is a good example. There's one that's really small here, and the other ones are quite a bit larger. And I think that's just because of the weakness of the bulb, because it's been growing before in this compost and it hasn't, because it's so well planted so close together, it hasn't been able to get enough energy, so it's just done a small flower. And I think even at the back here we have some which haven't produced any flowers because they don't have enough energy in their bulbs. So as I said before in the last video, if this continues growing in this condition, it will just get smaller and smaller every year. There'll be more and more plants because what tends to happen is the bulbs divide as they get older and they produce more bulbs, but because they're so crowded they're not going to have the energy to flower. So there's going to be more of them but less flowers, probably. But we'll see how it goes. I'll probably have to put these out next year in a bigger container because growing them for 2 years in this small container isn't great. But you can see I have had a good flowering display, especially the crocuses down here. The purple ones have really come on quite large, they look nice, quite big crocuses. Yellow ones are a bit smaller, less showy. I'm not so keen on them, but definitely these purple ones are lovely, really nice big colour on them, really bright colours. And there's even a nice one here which is quite interesting. It's got a lovely veining pattern on it, and I quite like that vein pattern that's produced. So as I say, there's also some tulips. You can see that plenty of the tulip leaves here. A lot of them are just leaves like that. If it's just a leaf like that, that's not going to flower. This one won't flower this year either. But I'll show you over here. We have actually got some which do have flower buds. I think this one here, there's going to be a flower bud coming out of that bit in the middle. I'll see if I can find the one that's more developed. There is one where the flower bud is a lot more developed on the plant. I think it's this one here. You can see there's a nice tulip flower head there, just developing at the moment. So that's going to look nice when that flowers. So what will probably happen now is I'll keep this on the windowsill where it is. It's quite a nice sunny position, so they should do quite well there. So they should do quite well on the sunny windowsill. And what will most likely happen is the daffodils and the crocuses will go over quite soon. Depends on the weather. If we have some more cold weather, it might last for several weeks. If it's warm still, then they'll only last for another week or so. But after they finish, in probably about a month's time, this should be a nice display of yellow tulips. As I say, it looks like there's not going to be that many this time, so we'll see. Maybe about 5 tulip heads I'm hoping for, but we'll just have to wait and see how many tulips do flower, and then they'll start to die down ready for summer. So as I say, I'm quite happy with it, considering these are last year's bulbs, and they were crammed in so tight together. I wasn't expecting such a good display again. But really next year I'll have to put them out in the garden, give them a lot more space, because as you can see they're so crammed together that a lot of these older ones, from a lot of the taller shoots from the likes of the daffodils and the tulips here, are overshadowing a lot of the crocuses down the bottom. So I really have to make sure that these are spaced out properly in the garden next year so they can fully develop, get enough light and enough energy for next year. So I think that's it for the update on this. I'm quite happy with it, and hopefully next time I see the update it will be just the tulips flowering.